There are moments in life when your hands are full, not with things, but with people, memories, dreams, and even though they're slipping through your fingers, you tighten your grip, because letting go feels like losing everything. I remember the last time I saw them. No grand goodbye, no dramatic ending, just a pause, a silence. And yet, in that silence, the world shifted. I kept revisiting old conversations, replaying what I could have said differently, as if changing the past could mend the ache in my chest. Attachment isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about identity. We don't just miss them, we miss the version of ourselves we were with them. I carried their words like stones in my pocket, familiar, weighty, impossible to put down. But the river of life keeps flowing, and heavy pockets will only pull you under. The Buddha taught, you only lose what you cling to. But how do you stop clinging when your heart is still wrapped around what's gone? Some nights, I whispered their name into the dark, not to bring them back, but to remember I once loved without holding back. That too is sacred. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring what was, without imprisoning yourself in what can no longer be. Grief isn't a straight path. It loops, stutters, repeats. But in time, it softens, like waves that once crashed, now gently kissing the shore. There is beauty in broken things. In Buddhism, we learn that cracks let the light in, and in the space left behind, something new begins to bloom. I found one of their old shirts buried in my drawer. I held it to my face, not to smell the past, but to say goodbye to it. Buddhist teachings say, this too shall pass, not to dismiss our pain, but to remind us that nothing lasts forever. Not joy, not sorrow, not even this ache. Some days I still wait for their name to appear on my screen. Then I remember they are no longer coming back, and I breathe through the sting. We often think letting go is an action, but sometimes it's an allowance, a surrender, a quiet nod that says, I accept. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without pain and choosing not to carry what no longer fits. The longer I sat with the grief, the more it softened. It stopped roaring. It became a river, and I began to float. In Buddhist practice, we are taught to hold everything lightly, even love, even loss, to be present without possessing. I used to think letting go was a door closing. Now I see it's a window opening. Different air, different sky, still life. What we cling to becomes our burden, and what we release becomes our teacher. Loss shapes us, but it doesn't define us. We are more than what we've had to release. I still dream of them sometimes, but I no longer wake up broken. I wake up remembering, love doesn't die, it transforms. I thought I couldn't live without them, but here I am, breathing, slowly becoming whole again. The heart knows how to break, but it also knows how to mend quietly, without asking permission. I watched the last leaf fall from the tree, and I whispered, thank you for everything you gave. Letting go is not weakness. It is the courage to love without ownership, to grieve without becoming grief. Some pain stays, but it changes shape, from sharp edges to soft echoes. Even in absence, they taught me something. Even in departure, there is meaning. I no longer wait for closure. I become the closure. I write my own peace. I found silence again, and in that silence, I heard my own name. They are gone, but I remain, and so does love, and so does life. I planted a flower in their memory, not to hold on, but to let something grow in the space they left. Each morning is a reminder that life keeps offering beginnings after endings. I learned to walk again, not toward the past, but toward myself. When you let go, your hands are free to hold peace, not pain. The Buddha said, "You cannot travel the path until you become the path." I walk now not to escape but to be. I visit the old places sometimes, but now I do so with gratitude, not longing. They're still with me, not in presence, but in the quiet wisdom they left behind. The hardest goodbyes teach us the deepest truths. Everything changes, and that's okay. Peace comes, not from holding, but from resting. Not from clinging, but from releasing. Letting go didn't take them away from me. It brought me back to myself. We suffer because we believe things should stay. But life moves, and so must we. I light incense, not to mourn but to honor. Each breath is proof that life continues, that we can continue with gentleness. I choose now not bitterness, not regret, but peace. Even loss has beauty when seen through the eyes of awakening. There is a sacredness in empty space. It is where new life begins. This too is part of the path. This heartbreak, this healing. I walk lighter now, not because it hurts less, but because I've made peace with the pain. Goodbye isn't always an ending. Sometimes it's a blessing wrapped in ache. Letting go was never the end. It was the beginning of truly coming home to myself.